Alright, so today I'm going to do just a brief overview on some of the features that Google offers. We're going to start with Gmail today because that seems to be what most everyone knows how to use and uses it most often. We'll go into some other features after that. If you go to the Google.com page, if you aren't signed in, it'll say sign in the top right corner. And I am signed in, so my options up here on my taskbar for my what I can choose from, you can see up here in the top left. And since we are going to start with Gmail, I'm just going to click on Mail, and that'll take me into my email account. Alright, so once you get into your email, what I want to focus on is showing to you that you can organize your email like you would organize a file cabinet. And so you can create what's kind of a type of folder, but in Google they call them labels. And you can see down here where you can manage labels that you've already created, or you can create a new label. And what happens is that when you have an email and you want to put it in a particular place, so like a folder, you give it a label, or you can move it to that label, and so then it takes it out of your inbox. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are actually going to create a new label. So if you click on create new label, you get a little pop-up box here, a little message box here, and you can give your label a new name. You could put it under another label that you have, so that you it's like creating folders within folders. So let's just name this label test. So now if I hover over my labels, I can see that I have my label test. Alright, so you saw that we had our label test. Well, now I want to show you how that kind of works. So if I click on a message here, I get extra options that show up here. So I can delete it, I can report it as spam, I can archive it, I could select more if I wanted to. But if I go to this folder here, this gives me the option to move that email into one of my labels that I have created. So if you take a look, we have our label called test. So I want to move my WGU on Facebook email into our label test that we created, and notice it disappears from my inbox. One other thing when we're in Gmail is over here where looks like the cog that's here. If you click on that, it brings down a menu. You can change the size of the font and how many emails you want to be able to show. Right now we are in the new look, but you could go back to the old look for a little while. You could change the theme of your Gmail, what it looks like in the background, and what we want to go do are settings. And when we get into settings, you can see that we have many options here. Your general options, manage your labels, other accounts, forwarding. But what we want to focus on right now is I want you to click on, I'm going to click on labs. And within the labs are just different things that people have created, other little quirks or little add-ins that people have created for Gmail itself. One of the options is in Gmail you have a chat box. Well, someone has created so that your chat box shows up on the right side of your screen. Or there's a great little lab that say you send an email and you sent it to the wrong person, or you didn't mean to do it. There's one of the labs that gives you the option to it gives you like about a 10 to 30 second window where you can undo the mail send so that it doesn't actually send it. So and the labs are just something that you have to go through each of them and just decide which ones you want to say yes to. So if you find one that you really want, you can just click on enable, and if you don't want it, just disable it, and you can always go in and change it later at a later time. So moving on from our Gmail, if we go back up to where our taskbar, as you can see, mail is highlighted and we've been in our Gmail. The next thing that we want to take a look at is documents. So in my taskbar, all I would do is click on documents, and that'll take us there. Alright, when we click on documents, you are taken into the Docs home, and just to show a couple things, here is the main list of all the documents that you have in your home screen. It tells you who owns it and when it was last modified. Over here is the red button where you can either create different documents or you can upload files. You can upload files or folders, and so Google added the folder feature, which is pretty nice. If you go to create something, there are different things that you can create. You can create a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet, a form, a drawing, or a collection. Here underneath where it says your home menu are all of your, what Google actually calls collections, but they're essentially like folders. You have My Collections, which are collections that you have created yourself, and then there are collections that are shared with you, and you can say I have no collection shared with me in this Google Doc home. First thing that we're going to look at is we're going to go into and we're going to create a document. Now, a document is just like a Microsoft Word, so it's a word processing page, and you can see that there are a lot of the same features that you would find in Microsoft Word or even OpenOffice Word. You can type, you can change your settings. The really nice thing about doing Google Documents is that over here in the right-hand side, you have the option to share your document. And you can change the privacy settings where it can be private. It can be, because we're in Western governors and they have gone Google, you can make it so that only people that have a Western governor's email can see a particular document, or anyone that has a link, or you can make it public on the web. The other thing that you could do is you can share the document with actual people. So right now I am the owner. If I go to share with someone, if I start typing in a name or whatever, you can see that over here to the right I can change. If I want this person to be able to edit the document, I can leave it as is. That's the default. If I want to make it so that they can only comment, I'm going to put can comment. I can just change that. Or if I want a document, for instance, I create documents all the time and share them with my students. Well, if it's a general document that everyone needs to be able to look at, I don't want my students to be able to edit that document. I just want them to be able to view. Because as soon as they can edit, they don't think about it as belonging to several people. They think of it as their document. So they'll start changing things, and then your original document is no longer there and now has morphed into something different. Also, when you go to add someone, you can uncheck this box here. You have the option to notify people via email that you have shared a document with them. You can even add your own personal message. If you want to make sure that you know that you shared it with someone, you can send a copy to yourself, or you can actually even put the document inside an email instead of just having it be a link to a document. Another great feature about Google Document is that it's a feature that Microsoft Word added in as well, and maybe Google got that idea from them, whatever. Anyways, is that you have the ability to add comments. So let's just say I type something, the cat in the hat, and I want to leave a comment on hat. So I highlight the word. I could do the whole sentence, a phrase, and up here I'm going to go to insert and click on comment. And over here I get a comment box. I could type something, a black hat, and then click on comment, and that adds the comment. So now this remains highlighted. And so if you had written a paper and your teacher went through and made comments on your paper, or say that even you had other students in your class that actually did some peer editing for you, and you saw a highlighted mark, that would let you know if you click on that, it takes you right to that comment box. Then as the person, you have the option to reply to the comment, or if it's a suggestion that they want you to do, so maybe I want to add black hat to my thing. Well, then over here on the comment I can click resolve, because I have done what they suggested in the comment, so then that comment now goes away. And one final thing to add within Google Doc is to name your document. And all you do is up here in the left-hand corner where it says Untitled Document, click on that. It brings up a message box, and this is where you just type in the name that you want to type it. So let's just make it Test Document. Click OK, and your name, the name of the document now changes. And in your home screen, you'll see that now that document is listed as test. All right, now we're going to create a presentation. And for Google, presentation is, it's just like PowerPoint. It just doesn't have all the floof. The options are very similar. You can insert pictures, text boxes, shapes. You can if you right click, you can change the layout, you can to a different type of slide, you can change the background, you can give it a theme. Insert more slides, you can add notes down at the bottom. Again, what I really like about Google Docs is that you have the ability to share the document with others. It could be a collaborative thing. Just like in Google Doc, if you want to name your presentation, you just click on, in the top left corner, you just click on Untitled Presentation. Brings up your message box where you can type a new name for it. And so, I mean, it's pretty much like PowerPoint. You can also, the things that you show up on your slide, you can change their increment timing so that when you click, it pops in, or after something shows up, then the next thing just shows up. You can't change the time length of it, but you can give it that different increment answer, especially like if you had a question up and you wanted the answer to wait until you click for a presentation for kids, then you have that ability to do that. All right, the next thing that we're going to create is a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is pretty straightforward. It's like Microsoft Excel. Again, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, so there are some exceptions that you have. Again, to rename it, you just click on Untitled Spreadsheet, name it. You have the ability to share it. You have the ability to do some of your formulas. So pretty straightforward, pretty basic. It's just web-based. You're not saving anything on your computer. You can download it. You can export it into a different, you can download it as a CSV file, web, Excel, a PDF. So you do have some options that way. All right, the next thing we're going to create is a Google form. So if you click on form, it takes you to the editing part of the form. Let's just point out some things here. First of all, you can give your form a name, talk about what you want your form to be. They start you off with 2 sample questions. Up here, where it says theme, you can actually change the theme of the form so that if someone goes to fill out the form, it shows basically a different background. A lot of times with the theme, I get this error message until I am completely done with the form and save it and get out of it and then go back in, and I have much better luck with changing the theme. Here you can allow users to edit a response, so if I put in an answer and I don't like it, I can go back and fix it. Because Western Governors is its own entity, its own EDU account, you can require that only people can see the form that have that WGU email account. And then you can also automatically collect Western Governor email addresses or surnames on these forms. I use that a lot so that the kids don't have to type in, or so my students don't have to type in their first and last name. Since our district is a Google district, we have our own EDU entity, and so it can collect the kids' Team Eureka logins automatically because they have to be signed in to actually see the form. Now, as far as questions go, the thing with forms is like you can use it for anything. You could create a form for a survey. Say you wanted to send out a survey to teachers or staff or students. You could create a test in your classroom. So let's take a look at some of the questions. So here's our first question, sample question 1. You can see that it's a closed question, so we need to edit it. So we're going to go over here to the right side where there's the pencil. That means we're going to edit it. Say you wanted to duplicate a question, you could hit this middle button here that looks like two of the same things. That's the duplicate button. And if you totally want to get rid of a question, there's the garbage can. So by clicking on the pencil, you can now edit the question. The first part of the box talks about question title, give it a name, help text, and then there's a list of different multiple choices of types of questions you can create. I don't know that there's a limit on the number of questions you can do. And what happens is that when you are done making this form, you get to see the back side of the form. What you would want to do is share the actual form itself, a live form, with whoever was going to take the survey or whoever was going to take the test. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll add a link to my classroom website that takes people to that survey or test. In our district we use forms. If we have a maintenance request, a bus request, then teachers fill out a form and it goes to the appropriate people. Once people fill out the form, or once you make it able to accept questions here, if I save this, let's go to the spreadsheet here. And so this is what we call the back side of the form. Right now, if I go up here to where it says form, if I want to be able to accept responses, this will be check marked. If I want to close that form so no one can do it, I can uncheck the accepting responses. And then this backside, the spreadsheet, will show you all of the answers that people enter into the form itself. Can be a very useful tool, and there's lots more that we can learn about this. So, okay, Google has a couple other things that you can create from the Google Docs. Is you can create a drawing. So let's go ahead and do that. You'll see that it brings up a basic drawing pad where I could insert text, I could insert shapes, I could fill it in with a different color. And then what's really great about the drawing is that I could add stuff, hit enter, my word appears in there. Then if I highlight it all and group it, now what I can do is, this is one picture, and I can actually then take this picture and I can download it as a PNG file, a JPEG, a PDF document, and then I could, if I do it as a JPEG or a PNG, then I can insert that picture, say I want it into a Google document or into my presentation. I've had lots of students that have created their own drawings and then inserted it into their presentation rather than going to Google.com and finding certain images. And the last thing on the home thing is that, again, like we talked about, you can create collections, which are like, it's like your filing cabinet, and you can create folders within folders and get everything organized that way. You have the ability to actually share an entire collection. So let's say I have this practice collection here. If I click on the arrow next to it, I can actually share that whole entire collection with somebody else, not just a document in the collection, but the whole thing. And that wraps up Google Docs. We're going to move on to just briefly take a look at Google Sites. The final Google tool that we're going to take a look at is Google Sites. And Google Sites are basically the ability for Google users to create a website. And it's sort of like a website in a box or in a can or something, where a lot of the features are there for you, and then you just have to add stuff to it. There's no programming or script writing or anything if you want to, keep it basic or make it easy and quick. So in your taskbar next to documents for WGU and the EDU account, Sites is listed right next to documents, so you would just click on Sites. When you are a Gmail user and you're not within that EDU domain, you may have to find Sites in the More. If you click on the More tab, it'll bring down a drop-down menu, and if it's not listed there, then you might even have to go into Even More and find the Sites tab there. So we're going to go ahead and click on Sites, and I'm just going to show you my classroom website just to give you some ideas of some of the possibilities and things that are available. So right next to Documents, just I'm going to click on Sites. Alright, so we're taking a look at my classroom website. I just wanted to show you just a couple things of what are some possibilities. I have created sidebars. I have a student sidebar, I have a parent sidebar, and then I've been trying to develop like some teacher resources, so I have a teacher resources sidebar. On my home page here, I had created a form for parents to fill out so that we can just get some basic information and be able to have that available to all of us teachers. I have my DIGO list, and I have created one for students, and so every time I add a new website, it updates it on my DIGO list here. My newsletter, it just kind of gives a quick rundown on some of the posts that I've created. Here is an active link to my teacher Facebook page. Here's one for the Eureka Public Schools page, and for you to like it, so it takes you there so you can go like it. For the students, I've broken it down into my different sections. I have a homeroom class, so some of the things that we've done in homeroom are listed here. These are all web pages that I have created. Under Earth Science, we have a ton of different things that we've done. So here is our solar system unit, and here are some of the things that we did under that. Our Earth and atmosphere, so like the kids took a test. Here's guidelines for underwater cities. Air pressure experiments, we did 3 different air pressure experiments. If you click on that, you can see air pressure experiment 1. I've included the document the students had to fill out, which is a Google Doc, and the kids all, that was all shared with them. YouTube videos that deal with the experiment, the YouTube videos that we actually watched in class before we did the experiment, and then actually how the experiment works. So those are just some different availabilities there. Some of these are direct links to sites, so if I click, let's see, if you clicked on the test, it would take you directly to a site. It's not actually a web page that I created. But anyways, I've done some Picasa albums that have pictures of the kids, so when you go to the photo album, it just starts showing pictures of the students in class, and it's set to do like a preview, so it'll keep doing a slideshow, so it'll do those pictures all the way through. But those are just some options. On my webpage, I actually have links to some other teacher websites. Some help for building your own Google website, and links to other teacher websites. I want teachers, to think about, well, what do you want to include? Here are some other Google sites that people actually use the Google websites to create some stuff. So that's just an option and possibilities for creating Google sites, and that it's pretty easy, and once you get the hang of it, even kids can do it. This is a website that my students created. We're going to click on here. Completely separate website on the solar system. Each of the space objects received their own sidebar, and then within the sidebar, students had to create pages. So here's the welcome page for the sun. Students had created a video, and they uploaded it to their Google Docs, and then they were easily able to insert it into their website. They had to create a Google presentation, so they've inserted a Google presentation into their website, and if they change this presentation at all in their documents, it'll automatically just update on their website. So just some ideas of what's possible. This site I did the basic template of it and set up the sidebars. The students completely created their own pages and then had to go in and add it to the correct sidebar so that it showed up. They needed to put them in the correct order. They needed to reference any pictures or resources that they used. So it's actually become a resource for other classrooms. We have a 3rd and 4th grade classroom that was doing some solar system stuff, and they actually used our website as a reference.